before. Just do a... Didn't work so well. Try again. Gerhard Papenfus is the chief executive of NEASA, and he's with me in studio after, well, quite a powerful piece that you wrote today telling your members. Last time we met, you told us that you had hundreds of thousands of people who are employed by your members. How many of those are exposed to the steel sector? And the reason for that is you actually having a full go at ArcelorMittal South Africa. And I'd like to just try and get some understanding of why you needed to focus on that, given your membership base.
Well, it's not. We have close to 2,000 businesses, members of NEASA. That's in the industry, but the whole industry is affected by what's happening. Everybody except the guy right at the top, and maybe all depending on the nature of a particular situation for 3 or 4 companies just below that. The rest is adversely affected by the current duty scenario.
Gerhard, I remember, going back decades now, Bernard Swanepoel, when he was still running Harmony, attacking what was then ISCOR or became ArcelorMittal, and saying that there were duties that were being charged by the government to stop imports from coming in, which were protecting the steel manufacturer. And in that case, obviously, the same company that you're going at now. I would have thought 30 years or so later, something would have been done about this. But are you saying that there are still duties on imported steel?
Well, if you talk about something that happened many years ago, the situation is much worse. And before 2006, there was, if I can give you a bit of history,
please,
because the history is so important to brief you in full of the situation bringing us to where we are. Before 2006, there was a 5% customs duty. And I think that is what Mr. Swanepoel referred to, 5% custom duty, which was scrapped in 2006 by Rob Davies.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that was that Rob Davies said that AMSA then made exorbitant profits, and that they had a beneficial iron ore deal with Sishen,
which became Kumba.
Which became Kumba. Now, at that time, while the world price for iron ore was about $80, they paid $36. But instead of passing on that benefit to the downstream, they took the money out of the country. So that annoyed.
Who owns ArcelorMittal?
Lakshmi Mittal, the biggest.
He's a global businessman.
He's a global businessman. At one stage, he's still one of the richest people in the world. And Lakshmi and Mittal International is a huge role player. I think it's the biggest steel role player outside of China.
I remember when they bought what was then ISCOR in South Africa, and it became ArcelorMittal. There was a lot of concern at the time that they were really not paying anything for this. They were being able to acquire it very, very cheaply. And now they're still being protected by government. You would have thought.
So that was 2006.
2006.
So that was stopped. Rob Davies stopped it. Rob Davies stopped the 5% because of these 2 reasons. 2015. Lakshmi Mittal, the owner of ArcelorMittal International, met President Zuma at the Indian buildings. He flew in and flew out in a day, meeting quickly. And that was followed very shortly thereafter, followed by the introduction of a 10% import duty.
No, hang on. So he comes into South Africa, meets with someone we know is a very corrupt president. It's been exposed by the Zondo Commission. And soon after the meeting...
Soon after that, 10%.
10% duty is put on imported steel.
Yeah. Now what was given in exchange? Well, nobody can say 100%, but shortly afterwards, a 20% BE deal was announced. Well, AMSA had to give away 26% for a BE deal.
And who were the beneficiaries of that
You
deal?
know, I can't give you the names now. I can't really remember the names, on top of my head. But you can establish that, and you can go and research that, and who's friends with who. So if I was to give you the names now, I simply cannot remember a name.
I'm remembering something here, and I haven't done the research in that side of it, but I do recall that the Guptas were signed into a proposed ArcelorMittal empowerment deal. And I remember having a very strong conversation with the then chief executive about it, and saying, but how can the Guptas be part of the BEE?
Chief executive of ArcelorMittal at the time.
Indeed, yeah.
Now, I stand to be corrected, but the chief executive at the time wasn't even allowed. I might have understood that he sat outside while that discussion took place. I wrote to Minister Rob Davies afterwards. And I said to him, you were against the 5% import duty. You've now introduced a 10% import duty. After this meeting, what happened at that meeting? And he answered me by launching a huge attack on me personally. Well, I responded again and said, well, that's all good and well, but you don't tell me what happened and what transpired in that room. But 2 years later, they introduced a further 12% safeguard duty. So that is 22%.
Just explain how that works. The safeguard duty?
Safeguard duty is on top of the customs duty. That is just another 12%. 3-year deal. 3-year safeguard duty. 12% first year, 10% second year.
To safeguard ArcelorMittal so that they didn't go bankrupt.
No. Safeguard is just another form of a duty, but same thing. You import steel, you pay 22%. Now, all depending from where you import. The initial duty, the 10%, was applied to all countries except Europe, because South Africa has a trade deal with Europe. But that doesn't help, because we don't import from Europe because it's simply too expensive. Europe is a first world environment. Wages are very high, and all the environmental demands make steel, or all products, in fact, more expensive. China didn't comply to all these things. So Chinese steel and all in other countries outside of Europe, steel was cheaper, but we couldn't buy it because we had to pay 22% import duty.
So let's just understand this. 2006.
Yeah.
Rob Davies
stopped the 5%.
He stops the 5% import duty.
That's
so
right.
You can then, as a manufacturer, import steel anywhere you like.
Yes.
2015. This is just in the run-up to Nenegate, when Zuma's at his absolute zenith. Lakshmi Mittal, the owner of ArcelorMittal South Africa, flies into the country, meets with Zuma at the Union Buildings, and days later, there is a 10% import duty that is placed on all steel imports.
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter, there's
on all steel imports except Europe.
Except from Europe, which they can't do because there's a trade agreement.
Which was in any way not an option.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Then there's a 20% BEE deal at ArcelorMittal South Africa. And subsequent to that, you're saying that 2017, there was another tariff that was placed on
safeguard. Another 12%. So it's 10 plus 12.
So it's 22 now.
For 3 years. And that 12% reduced from 12 to 10 to 8. So first year, 22%, second year, 20%, third year, 8%.
18, yeah. So it's down to 18.
Yeah.
So it's 18% in the third year. I get that.
In the third year. That was supposed to stop last year. That third year was supposed to stop last year in August. AMSA extended it. applied, and it was extended by the minister. So you must understand, this attack on AMSA is also an attack on DTI. The one can operate without the other. At least AMSA can't operate without the DTI giving them the duties. They extended it unlawfully. They didn't comply with procedure. They simply didn't comply with the requirements to extend. Max Steel took them to court. They settled out of court, and the duty, the 8% lapsed, just lapsed in this month.
So it has lapsed.
It has, the 8%.
Over. Mm-hmm.
The 10% is still there. Now, what happened since 2015? The steel industry, 700 companies were liquidated. 300 is under business rescue. Big companies went down. Why? Because we couldn't get steel at the right price. But not only that, we couldn't get steel. Now, what a cheek to prevent a person to import steel while you yourself cannot provide that steel. What a cheek. How can that ever be justified? South Africa ran out of steel and the prices rocketed. The prices rocketed and we didn't have steel. I mean, small businesses. My wife has got a friend. She's the owner of an iron and wood manufacturing place, Smart Furniture. She's now only making furniture from wood. She can't get steel, and where she can get it, she said, is so outpriced that she can't use it anymore. So everything, and steel influenced the price of everything. Everything.
So the 10% duty is still there.
They're still there.
ArcelorMittal, though, is making very good money.
Oh, yeah. Because what happened here is that the ArcelorMittal just increased their prices as they protected now. So you need to make a decision if you want to import. Can I get steel? No. Let me put it to you this way. If I import, I pay 22%. Is it worthwhile? Or must I buy from AMSA? Now, if you buy from AMSA, you don't pay less because AMSA adapted their price to be more and less with the price you'd pay if you import. But even if you are prepared to pay the price at AMSA, you don't necessarily get it. You're waiting for months. The waiting period were just unacceptably long. So there were no steel, but you also can't import steel. It's simply too expensive. So we're losing our markets. I mean, we export to sub-Saharan Africa, our steel. Just became too expensive. So we're losing jobs in the industry. Businesses are going down. Everybody is complaining. There are no happy customers in this industry because of this. Now, and you know what? After the lapse of or the termination of the 8%, AMSA said that's not such a big deal. And we say, and this is in a previous document article that they wrote, so what a cheek is that? How arrogant can it be for you that fought for this custom duty, safeguard, fought to extend it, maintain it, extend it, and now that it's taken away from you, you say, not such a big deal. In the meantime, it's cost people their livelihood.
Gerhard, I'm just trying to understand this. If you import steel, it's a bulky product. So it's going to cost you a lot of money to get into the country in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
So you're paying more than the international price because you've got to get it here. Then you have to add onto that a 10% duty.
Well,
so if you
2018, now 10.
Prior to that, now it's 10. But looking at where we are at the moment, so it's a 10% duty.
Yeah.
If you are the local manufacturer, then of course you've got to get the steel from Durban up to the Highveld, which is again expensive. If you're the local manufacturer, you should be able to easily compete if you are efficient with those who are manufacturing elsewhere, given the prices that the transport costs of that product. And yet, even so, there's a 10% duty. Now, how does one get this revoked, or how does one get some attention from Pretoria on it?
Well, I think we got attention. I mean, since 2015, we've been really fighting this hard, and I think fight very hard, and I think we got attention. I mean, there's no doubt they know we got the attention of the minister. But you know, the whole issue got
Is this
attention.
Patel?
That's Patel.
Oh.
You know,
But Patel has got the Competition Commission where which is also part of his remit, where he's supposedly promoting competition. It doesn't sound to me like an import duty on this product is promoting competition.
well, you know, just on the import on competition, you know, the new drive, and we going away from this topic now. The new drive is to manufacture local manufacturing. Now, you know, local manufacturing is good. You just mustn't get crazy about it, because if you can buy something elsewhere to a better product at a better price, that is how the world economy works. You cannot manufacture. If you know, it's like we're trying to manufacture cell phones. Somebody that says we must manufacture cell phones locally, say, but you're mad. You can't do that. And if you try doing it and you fail, you go to government and say, no, we can't manufacture cell phones competitively. Give us a duty to protect us. No. We must be able to compete, because what will happen if you have that protection against local manufacturing? Our quality will decline. You must have international competition if you want to stay in business here. Manufacture the best product at a best price. You cannot demand from a co-South African to buy from you unless you have the best product, and that is not anti-South African. That is very much South African. Companies that is protected decline in terms of. Now, AMSA has a steel mill that's 75 years old. Due to protection, they don't have to upgrade it. Now, government says we must have a local steel manufacturer. We say, why? Why must we have it? They say, well, if you buy from China, they can manipulate you. I say, but you don't have to buy from China. You can buy from anyone. You can go to Russia. You can go to India. The world is competing for the market. And if company A doesn't give you the product at a particular price, you go to B. I was in China. I mean, every steel company you visit give you business cards. They want to do business with us. They compete with each other. So use that facility. If China protect or if what they do protect their own businesses, so be it. Let us enjoy the benefit from that.
You also mentioned in your note to your members a company called Duferco. Have I pronounced that correctly? What's the story there?
Well, Duferco is a re-roller. In other words, they buy the flat sheets of metal from ArcelorMittal. Then they re-roller, they make it thinner. I mean, that's a fantastic process where you make steel this thick, make it thinner. They're a re-roller. But how ridiculous is this? AMSA simply, and Duferco, by the way, is a huge role player in the South African steel market as a re-roller. But they buy from AMSA. But AMSA doesn't have enough stuff for them. So what do they have to do? They have to import the rest, but they pay a 10% duty. Now, the moment you pay that, your profit's gone. You can't do it. So Duferco said, sorry, we cannot supply the market anymore. We cannot operate profitably anymore because of the duties. Now, again, what a cheek to say to somebody, I am the only person that can provide you with material. And if I can't, you can't import.
And you mentioned that there was another little complication to this, in that the government is actually supporting Duferco, or has invested in it. So on the one hand, it's got duties. On the other hand,
500 million in from the IDC invested in Duferco, but it's weighing up interests. So it was in their interest to do it then. The same company in which they've invested 500 million taxpayers' money, apparently not that important. So Then now here's the question: why do you protect? That's the question to the minister. Why do you protect AMSA?
And what's the answer? What is his answer?
The answer is we must have a local steel producer. I don't know whether it's a prestigious issue like SAA, perhaps. The fact is, it's nice to have one. And I will agree that it is nice to have one. But that steel producer needs to be to the benefit of the downstream.
But surely, if that steel producer is making excess profits, which appears to be the case at the moment, then why does it need to be protected?
Good question. That's a good question.